In our world, cops and teachers are basically the same. I mean, cops and teachers who work in black neighborhoods and black schools are subject to an enormous amount of hostility, taunting, threats, violence, and even murder. And all throughout their career, the people committing these atrocities upon them, driving them into really, really large rates of PTSD, the people responsible for that, they are the ones who insist on being called victims. And the people who are the victims, the cops and the teachers, they are the ones looked upon as the perpetrators. So we're living in an upside down world where black is white, white is black, dark is light, light is dark, whatever you want to, however you want to call it. But I don't know if it's because there's a new sheriff in town in Washington, D.C., or things just got so bad that eventually they've gotten so bad they surpass the ability of reporters and public officials to pretend nothing is happening. But we saw that happen twice in one day involving cops and teachers. Let's start with the teachers. And let's just, as a reminder, we'll get on to East Memphis. Well, there's something going on in Memphis too. Let's look at these three stories about teachers and tell me if you see something they have in common.
Police issued summons to 19 students following fights at East High School today, and police say there were several separate fights.
Local 24's Annette Pegler is live at East High School, and she joins us now. Annette, what can you tell us?
Well, Brandon and Katina, I'm told that there were at least 7 fights here at East High School this morning. And I'm even told that Memphis police confirmed to us that campus security here had to use pepper spray to break those fights up. Now, we have exclusive video for you on Local 24 of the arrests made following those fights. Memphis police say when officers arrived to the school, they found several girls who had been detained by campus security after a fight that took place inside of the school. There were no serious physical injuries reported from that fight. Now, while officers were assisting this incident, a second fight broke out in the parking lot of the school. As officers were attempting to clear that area of the second fight, another fight broke out inside of the school. Now, Memphis police arrested several juveniles, and I'm even told some of the parents of those students were also arrested. I haven't been able to confirm that exactly from police, but witnesses here on the scene did tell me that. Now, we do have a statement from Shelby County School District about what happened in this situation, and the district did confirm the fights at East High School today. The district also said that this type of behavior will not be tolerated on our campuses, and the students involved will face serious, strict disciplinary action. Now, extra security will be here at the school tomorrow because of these fights.
New details are coming to light about yesterday's fight caught on cell phone video at Cheltenham High School. Now, we've now learned that more people were injured than first thought, and one student has been charged as an adult. Eyewitness News reporter Greg Argos is at the high school with the new information. Greg.
And Yuki, we've learned that 10 total staff members were injured in yesterday's massive brawl. So this afternoon and throughout the day here at Cheltenham High School, administrators from the superintendent's office met with each and every student here at the high school to hopefully iron out any issues. Some 24 hours after this brawl at Cheltenham High School, new details are emerging about exactly what happened. A spokesperson for the school district says 7 teachers and 3 safety officers injured. One teacher seriously hurt as she tried breaking up the fight.
I don't know how she's doing, but I really hope she's doing okay, because this is for teachers to get injured is that's how you know it's gone too far.
4 students arrested, 3 minors, but the 4th, 18-year-old Amber Lewis, charged as an adult with aggravated assault.
The atmosphere in class today was very sad. We all felt affected.
Saturn Durang is a senior at the high school. He says administrators, including the school principal and superintendent, met with each class Thursday morning, discussing the fight and how to improve issues at the school.
Most of the classes too, we talk mostly about like what can we change, what can we do, and like how can we talk more about like our feelings so we won't so this stuff like this won't happen.
CBS 3 obtained this internal school climate report administered in February 2017 by the Cheltenham Educators Association, the teachers union here. The report paints a bleak picture about safety within Cheltenham High. In the survey, teachers complain about being harassed by students. One writes, quote, "Outside of my classroom, I believe I am not safe. I do not believe the district will act to protect my or my students' safety." Another writes, "The students know there are few, if any, consequences for negative behaviors." Now, Yuki, Jazz officials at the district did not want to speak with us on camera, but they did release a statement. It reads in part, quote, "Additional staff will be on site this week and next to ensure school rules are being followed. Counselors are available to meet one-on-one with students, and a series of rolling meetings are being conducted by faculty to discuss expectations regarding school culture, climate, and conduct."
So in Memphis, they're arresting a whole bunch of people. In St. Paul, Minnesota, the teacher is suing the school district. But the startling one to me was in Philadelphia, where the teachers union is telling the school district and reporters that teachers in black schools aren't safe and haven't been safe for a long time. This is pushback. This is pushback like we don't get that much of. And I don't want to say I told you so, but I will say this. Everything that we are doing to let people know, to bring this issue out of the shadows, out of the closet, out of the darkness, everything we're doing is moving the dial. I don't know if it moves the dial a little bit or a lot, but the dial is definitely moving. There's a lot more people who know there's something really wrong with all this abuse on teachers and cops and this ridiculous lack of achievement in schools with lots of black people in it. Lots and lots of people are wondering what's going on, and nobody has a decent answer. Except, we're tired of ignoring, we're tired of being in denial, deceit, and delusion about it. I thought that story with the Philadelphia Teachers Union, by the way, teachers unions across the country are talking about this now. But the weird thing is about the teachers unions is, a lot of school districts are controlled by the teachers unions, not the parents. And the teachers unions are down with the cause. And so that kind of makes it a little more complicated. But let's head on over to the cops now. Let's run through a few recent cop stories, including the most significant one that we'll save to last.
First at 6, the Dallas firefighter and paramedic who was shot yesterday is in critical condition, and now we know his recovery will be a long one. That first responder is William Ahn, a 10-year veteran.
Now, Ahn was shot yesterday while treating a shooting victim. The suspect, Derek Brown, then opened fire on other firefighters at the scene. Rebecca Lopez tonight, live with much more. So, Rebecca, you actually reported on Brown years ago.
I did. He was the president of the new Black Panther Party, and we talked to him as he was leading some protests against the Dallas Police Department, and he and some of his members actually had confrontations with Dallas police officers, and then today the FBI says that he was under a current investigation. Afterwards, Derek Brown has been well known to the Dallas Police Department and federal authorities for years. In 2004, he led protests against DPD. He was the leader of the new Black Panther Party. He and other members had confrontations with officers over police-involved shootings. He promised retaliation back then.
And I mean, if that takes fighting back, Lord have mercy on me for what should happen on these streets, but I'm willing.
He has a long criminal history, and the FBI confirmed they were currently investigating him.
Mr. Brown's rap sheet, his encounters with law enforcement are well known at this time, and they were known prior to this matter happening.
But it may not have been known to Dallas Fire Rescue, as they came face to face with him Monday morning. Police say he shot his elderly roommate, then a neighbor. His girlfriend called 911. Firefighters arrived to find the neighbor shot in the middle of the street. As they were helping him, police say Brown shot firefighter William Ahn, who was taken by a DPD sergeant in his squad car to the hospital.
All of these officers' actions are more than commendable. They should be considered heroic.
Brown was found dead in his home. Police say he shot himself. His family told News 8 today he is a father of 18 and was expecting another child. He worked at Parkland Hospital.
I don't know what happened, We don't know what happened right now.
Dallas police say they are still trying to piece everything together and say a lot of what happened is captured on 911 recordings and surveillance tapes. Brown's family says he did not have a history of any kind of mental illness. They don't know what happened. They say they are waiting for more answers. Meanwhile, Dallas Fire Rescue Station 19 firefighters are at the hospital standing guard over firefighter On. They are going to be with him for every moment.
Canonsburg police officers have been shot. This is major. Channel 11 is following as it unfolds out of Washington County. As soon as we heard the call, Channel 11 sent several crews out to Canonsburg.
And this is still a very dangerous scene. It started playing out in front of our crews just before 4:30.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing, although they're still getting tests done. There's a heavy police presence. We're at 39th and Broadway. The officer was actually driving by here when he saw an altercation happening right here at the Walgreens at right around 8 o'clock. He stopped to assist, and when he did, that's when the suspect resisted arrest, resisted following those instructions, and then tried to take off. The officer got caught, and that suspect dragged the officer right through this parking lot. The officer, of course, rushed to the hospital and is undergoing tests.
In my little town of Wilmington, Delaware, I remember I was walking around, this was like last year, and I saw a couple guys at the local convenience store. They were paramedics working for this paramedic company called St. Francis Hospital, where good old Colin was born. Anyway, so I said, hey, what's up with the, if you don't mind me asking, what's up with the bulletproof vests? Why do ambulance drivers and workers wear bulletproof vests? And they looked at me like, okay, why are you asking such a stupid question with such an obvious answer? It's because they go into deep and dark and chocolate, dangerous neighborhoods where people, you know, the ambulance drivers run into a lot of hostility because when they get to a shooting, no matter what happens, they always say that the ambulance should have been there a minute or two before, and that would have saved the guy that just got shot. I mean, we have stories in Don't Make the Black Kids Angry about people throwing rocks and bottles and bricks at ambulance drivers and first responders in Wilmington, Delaware, preventing them from getting to the body. I mean, this stuff's on video. This is all over the country. But things are changing. Things are changing for teachers. Things are changing for first responders. Things are changing for cops. But check out this headline, a report from the FBI. Cops feel betrayed by politicians, say they encourage attacks. They are, of course, talking about something we've been talking about here every day for years. The cops are victims of an enormous amount of black violence and hostility, which is the new norm, which is now mainstream. We have entire cities working controlled by people on city councils who believe cops are the problems, black people are the victims, when the opposite is true. Well, the FBI is getting into the act, and they did a little report documenting this. I don't know if this report would have come out when Obama was president. Here's the story. An internal FBI investigation into the spike of attacks on law enforcement has determined that revenge inspired by Black Lives Matter movement, the media's assault on police shootings, and criticism from politicians is what motivates a majority of those shooting cops. Quote, law enforcement officials believe that defiance and hostility displayed by assailants toward law enforcement appears to be the new norm, said the internal report stamped for official use only.
Do you understand issues with criminal justice, particularly in the black community, and police brutality? Do you understand issues with criminal justice, particularly in the black community, and police brutality?
No, if somebody asked me if I wrote that report, I would have to officially deny that. But these guys are using our words, our language, word for word. Back to the quote from the report. The assailants, inspired by social and/or political reasons, believed that attacking police officers was their way to get justice for those who had been, in their view, unjustly killed by law enforcement, said the report. In two horrific assassinations of police, the report said the assailants were influenced by the Black Lives Matter movement. Another reason for killing police, according to the FBI, was a desire to remain free. You know, there are some reporters and some people in this country who won't believe anything is happening until it has a little official stamp of government approval on it. Well, that's kind of strange because, this stuff has been happening plain as day for a couple of years. And when we talk about things on this channel, I really don't care who is or is not giving us their official approval. We show what's happening, and we challenge people to give counterexamples of how we're wrong. They never do. Just the other day, a guy over on our Facebook page, his name's Nate something or other, he goes, "Well, Colin, I'm a security guard. I can tell you at white schools, kids fight too." All right. This was in response to a story where 10 teachers were injured in one episode of large-scale black mob violence at a school in Philadelphia. So something's going on out there, something we've been talking about. A lot more people are starting to figure out, are starting to open up their minds to. Now here's where you come in. This is when we double down. And this is when we keep pushing the videos out. This is when we keep telling our stories, but we keep doing it without racism, without rancor, without apology, no vulgarity, no obscenity, no racial slurs. That drives people away. You know that it does. When people leave those kind of comments on my Facebook page, or they leave them on this YouTube channel, or they leave them at American Thinker, I assume they're only doing it for one reason. They want to drive people away from what we're talking about. They're hostile to what we're talking about. That's the only thing that makes any sense. I'm doing a story. When I see a vulgarity on my YouTube channel, I look at it the same way that the story I'm working on now about two hoaxes. Back in November, this Episcopalian church filled with social justice warriors had a bunch of graffiti sprayed on it. Of course, everybody went outside. They asked for the FBI this, the FBI that. They told how virtuous they are. They weren't going to hate the people who did it. Isn't it too bad that people hate us just because they hate us because we're such nice people and we love everybody? Well, of course, it turned out that the person doing the graffiti, the person staging the hoax crime, was the church organist, a 26-year-old gay dude. So that's the way I look at people who leave obscenity, vulgarity, and racial slurs on this channel. And we do police them, so I still don't know why you put them on there. Because things are changing in our way. More people are opening their minds. Fewer people are worried about making the black kids angry.